I'm supposedly one of the first rappers to come out from the city. At the moment I hit up the stage, and I was like, really, I wanted to do this thing for my entirety and for in my entire life. When we were the rebellious group, and we actually convinced our teachers, and teachers were really supportive. At that point of time, we never had our recording set up and everything, and Salman Khan actually called us, and we were like, okay. Hey people, this is Yagyaswami Krishnaswamy Santhanam Srinivasan Iyer, Orf EPR. I'm the frontman of this band, a rap rock band called Underground Authority, and also I front this hip hop duo named A Dicot, A Dream and a Cup of Tea with GJ Storm. And I've had a wonderful journey in music for 15, 16 years. And starting from 2005, when I was actually studying in AK Ghosh Memorial High School, and the first time I actually stepped up on stage was in TTI's festival. At that back then, it was like a very huge festival. And our school was not, a school where where people would, or our teachers would encourage us to do something extra than studies, like extracurricular activities. I mean, their sports were there, but sports is where it was limited to. I mean, like, apart from studies, you can only do, only play football or cricket and take part in competitions like that, but no extracurricular activities like spray painting, or the cool activities that we know of, like spray painting or dancing or hip hop music or band and stuff like that. So it was not uh, incorporated, or it was not promoted by our teachers. But then again, when we were the rebellious group, and we actually convinced our teachers, and teachers were really supportive of the fact that the school is starting its own first band, and we formed our first band, and then we went into this TTI's competition, and then I actually performed and got up on the stage for the first time. And the very next day, what happened was, like, I'm supposedly one of the first rappers to come out from the city, and probably also one of the first rappers in the country at that point of time, because it was like 2005, 2004. At that point of time, it was very hip hop was something that was not very much known. I mean, people were listening to songs like, probably, hip hop back then was like, probably, okay, Baba Segal and spoop hip hop and stuff like that. But then again, yes, I went up on stage, and I performed. At that point in time, I did not write my original lyrics. Then I used to write poetry, but then again, I was so much inspired from System of a Down, or Rage Against the Machine, and Linkin Park, that I actually wanted to make a band like Linkin Park. So after that, when I first hit the stage, I was really, really, uh, I was really excited to make a part of mine in music. And I wanted to do, the moment I hit up the stage, I was like, really, I wanted to do this thing for my entirety and for in my entire life. So after that, then continued the period where I actually started listening to a lot of hip hop music from abroad, from the US, from Africa. And I started reading a lot of poetry, watching a lot of films about hip hop music. So I started developing myself as an artist. And then it became a period where I was actually looking for different musicians in the city to actually, collaborate with, so that they can help me produce my music and produce my first track. And it took me about like 2 years, but I was like having no, back then 2007, right? So yeah, 2007, I had no, I was looking at going up to DJs in different discos and stuff like that, hoping that a DJ would recognize my talent, and my talent for, or my knack for rapping at that point of time. But most of the DJs used to play Bollywood music. It's not that I have something against Bollywood music, but then most of the DJs were push play button DJs. They would just, you know, play the button and you know, just shake their hands or something like that. But I was looking for a hip hop producers, the ones who would scratch and ones who would like make music with me. So because that's what I learned from hip hop, and that's why I saw from the videos that were available to me. So at that point in time, I took a very different turn. I thought that this thing is not working out with DJs. I need to really go jam with live musicians. So I met a lot of people. I met Kuntal, and he used to play in this band called Gravy Theory. At that point in time, I was like really into hardcore, into hip hop music. I was like, okay, fine. I used to listen to Linkin Park, but then again, apart from that, I never used to explore anything above, anything beyond rap rock, and I was a hardcore hip hop head, as I said. So Kuntal exposed me to a lot of different genres, be it grunge, be it. I first heard bands like Nirvana when he actually exposed me to a lot of music. And then what happened was I formed this band called Band with him. And the only way to make things happen, or the only way for an independent musician back then in 2007, 8, 9 was to actually go uh, and put your entry at a college festival. So we used to wake up early in the morning, 8 o'clock, and we used to go. We used to have rehearsals before, and then write original songs, original music, and then we used to compete at Western band competition or rock band competition or beat competitions as it were called previously. We used to go there and we used to compete, and we used to wait till the whole competition was over, that and hoping that we won something, because the prize money were like offered like 5,000, 10,000 rupees at that point of time. And this meant a lot because at that point of time we never had a recording setup and everything, and to actually take out a demo song in that market, I mean, you actually needed to spend a lot of money. And so from that era, I came and I started doing music with Kuntal, and we started winning. First, we lost a lot of competitions. I mean, like, losing is a part and parcel of everything. I believe that, if you do not fail in life, you're never going to learn anything. So I failed a lot of times. I got rejected from a lot of music producers, a lot of musicians, but at the same time, there were people who motivated me. So Kuntal is one of them. I mean, he's known as GJ Storm, and I still work with Kuntal. So I started making this band called Band, and then started playing at competition, be it Isan Tanbat, far off places. I used to take trains and what not to go to different places and compete. And I used to win a lot of competitions. I still remember that Band had an unbeaten streak of about winning 7 to 8 competitions in a row. We were really on a roll. We were really earning at that point of time. And then what happened was we had a problem with our bassist, and our bassist ran away. And our drummer also said that he's going to quit music because he's going to Sikkim. He was a Nepali person, and he really wanted to go back to his farming in Sikkim. So we couldn't do much with Band after that. We had won a lot of competitions, but then again, things were looking really bleak. And at that point of time, I really wanted to do something in music for sure. So what I did was I made another band called Skydive. I met Adil Babla and Sorish, and they also shared. They were also having a problem with their vocalist because they were not finding the correct vocalist at that point of time. They were also having problems with the band, and we were rival bands at that point of time. Band and Weapon Shop were like rival bands, and either a competition they would win or we would win, and it was generally a mark difference about like 1 mark and stuff like that. But I met Adil Babla Shorish back then in 2010, in 2009 actually, and I formed this band called Skydive, and we started doing a lot of shows here and there, pub shows, and that's the first time we were actually getting pub shows. As an independent band, we are also winning competitions, and then I actually told Adil Babla and Sori said, why do not we take in Kuntal, because Kuntal has been a part of my musical journey from a long time. And then we decided we were there in Vivekananda Park, and we were actually having a tea, and we were deciding that okay, why not have Kuntal as the rhythm guitarist, because Adil was the lead guitarist. So we actually formed a super group of a band, I mean, like comprising of band members and Skydive members to form something called Underground Authority. And Underground Authority started off winning competitions really again. And then suddenly there was this one incident that happens because we get a call. Uh, what basically happened was there's this pub called Basement in Calcutta. I don't know if it's still there. It was in Sarat Post Road. So we were frequently performing there. And at that point of time, India's Got Talent audition, Coach 2 auditions were actually also happening there in Science City Auditorium, and the production crew were actually there in the pub, and they saw us performing, and they just heard one song of us, which we actually did as a comic relief, because that one song we just did to fool around. I mean, like we used to take A.R. Rahman songs and just mix with a little bit of rap music here and there. We used to make it punk rock, really sometimes really metal types, and these people enjoyed it a lot, and they came up to our manager and they said that why don't you uh, try out at India's Got Talent. And at that point of time, I was like a very hardcore person, and I was like hardcore into rock music and metal music and rap music. I mean, like I was like, what do we do? What would a band do in a talent show? I mean, like I thought that talent show were like for places where magicians or dancers or tube light eaters or fire eaters would go, something like that. Not any offense against them, but yeah. At that point of time, I had we were all at that 21, 22 phase where we were actually very polarized in opinions and stuff, very rebellious. Our lives changed. I mean, when we went to India's Got Talent, we were first exposed to when we first came on television, Indian national television. I mean, like the like requests were pouring in. People were like liking our songs, and people like even Salman Khan actually called us, and we were like, okay, who's Salman? I mean, like we never knew that the actor actually called us, but we were like, okay, like we hang out in Kidrapur, so every other guy is called Salman or Arshad or stuff like that. So we actually kept the phone on Salman Khan. I mean, like, and then we couldn't believe ourselves that even Salman Khan liked our music. And from that to years and years of performing, I mean, like in 2020, UA turned actually 10 years, and I have performed at about like 600 to 700 college shows everywhere in this country, did international tours as well, played for festivals and opened for artists like Megadeth. And it was really nice for me. It was like a journey. And then after, in 2019, I felt this urge of doing something for hip hop music as well. And I believe that hip hop music does not only have to be one track minded. I mean, like generally, we when we hear hip hop, we see that okay, people are objectifying women, guns, cars, and stuff like that. I wanted to talk about something that is really important, and something, the stories of our country, the stories of our heroes, and the stories that we come across every day. So that's why I started, you know, this project called Adak with Kuntal, and I started releasing songs on YouTube, and it were really steadily gaining popularity and everything. And then I entered Hustle, and with every episode of Hustle, I took it as a responsibility to actually raise issues one by one. The first issue I raised was on the killings of journalism. I mean, the killing of journalists like Gauri Lankesh, and also the killing of Neha Shori, who was like a drug inspector. And then I talked about issues like student suicide, farmer suicides, and I talked about existentialism, mental depression. I talked about acid attack victims, survivors, and with every episode, I actually talked about a lot of things. And from that, people already had this image of mine that this is the guy who actually raps for this band called Underground Authority, and Underground Authority is actually, into like hardcore commercial stuff. I mean, they are invited in every college fest, and people jump and stuff like that. On the other side, I have this very serious solo set of mine where where people actually come to listen to me for the message I give in. I mean, like right now, it's so magical that every time there's something bad that is happening, I have my fans or my people actually coming up to me and telling me, bro, EPR bro, there's something really happened, some guy got killed over here, please do something about it. And they really want to take out, because they really think that hip hop can be uh, a tool, an important tool to spread awareness, especially when in the age of media is being bought by corporate players. And right now, hip hop is being a tool for, and also being the voice of the voiceless and the hope for the hopeless. So on that note, I've had a rough journey, but at the same time, I had a very roller coaster ride, from being in a band to right now standing as one of the most recognized protest poets in the country. Though always think of myself as just as an ordinary poet trying to make a living, but yes, thank you for all the love and support. And this is my story, and I hope that my story inspires you. I mean, because for me, hip hop and rock music were something that empowered me from being nothing to being something. And I believe that this story of mine can help you inspire even a little bit. If it does, it'll really make me happy. So, from my side, I just have three words for you: inspire, lead, revolutionize. And a big shout out to my canvas talk. Yeah. Thank you.